Welcome back to the JCPod, part of Stare Down Sports. Stare Down Greatness. Got a little bit of news for you today, which we'll probably hop into pretty much right away, and then we'll finish it off with some good old odds for Super Bowl, Conference Championship, all that fun jazz. We won't go over all the odds, honestly, but we'll take a quick peek at some of these because, like I said, we get the NFL schedule release. We talked about this a little bit. Schedule release tomorrow. It'll be about 8 p.m., so we'll react to that Tuesday. But let's at least get a look at some of the odds and see if anything changes after the NFL schedule officially gets released. Most of the news today, honestly, will be just some of the leaks because they're officially leaks because the NFL's kind of giving them out. But we get a little bit of teasers for what the schedule is going to be. So let's just hop into the news real quick before we go over all that betting odds and everything. Like I said, news-wise, there's not a whole lot besides some of this leaking of the schedule stuff that we are officially getting out, which I thought there was at least one thing we didn't talk about. No, we pretty much talked about it all. We will talk about college football real quick to go over that. So we got an announcement for the first two college game days of the year. Baton Rouge for Clemson versus LSU, and then Ohio State versus Texas will be week 2, and then potentially it sounds like week 3 is going to be Ole Miss LSU, which is going to be a whole lot of fun for college football. But the announcement of that just goes to remind us, hey, we're that much closer to the college football season. But NFL-wise, let's quickly talk about just some of the schedule stuff that's been officially released. They've officially announced all the international games. So the week 1, the Rams are going to play the 49ers in Australia. Week 3, the Ravens are going to play the Cowboys in Brazil. Week 4, the Colts are going to play the Commanders in London. By the way, crazy we're having games this early into the season. I know they usually get a lot of them done early in the season, but I don't remember, I think last year, us having this many games this early in the season when it comes to international-wise. So after Colts Commanders, Week 4 in London. Week 5 is Eagles Jaguars in London. Week 6 is Texans Jaguars in London. I don't know how I feel about divisional game being overseas, won't lie. Steelers Saints in Week 7 will be France. Week 9 will be Bengals Falcons in Spain. Week 10 will be the Patriots and Lions in Germany. And then Week 11 will be the Vikings and 49ers in Mexico. Mexico City. And that will be officially where all these games are played. So you got Melbourne, Rio de Janeiro, London, where I believe they play at the same. They're going to play at the Tottenham Stadium, and then they'll play in Wembley for the last game. Then you got Paris, Madrid, Munich, and then, like I said, Mexico City. Kind of cool that we're going to get basically half the league is officially overseas. That part is kind of cool, but pretty much goes to show that we're probably going to be seeing a lot more of this as the NFL tries to get as many games overseas as they can. We're also going to have, when it comes to games, interesting. I think there's a Wednesday night one we're going to get as well. The first ever Thanksgiving, I guess it's not first ever Wednesday night, but the first ever Thanksgiving Eve NFL game will be the Packers versus the Rams on Wednesday night. This will take place on Netflix. This will be Wednesday, November 25th, 8 o'clock kickoff. Obviously, they haven't announced whose home was away. We'll learn that on Thursday, but just kind of cool that we're getting all these games announced and everything, and we're getting an idea of, okay, so this is what some of these matches are going to be like overseas. We're 125 days out, so it's just fun to at least give us a little bit of something as we continue to wait for this offseason to hopefully keep flying by as it has been so far. Another thing that got released as well to talk about all this schedule stuff is the Air Miles teams will be traveling this year. So the number 1 team will be the 49ers at 38,000, and number 2 will be the Rams at 34,000. Obviously, that Melbourne trip is taking up a lot of that. So it kind of makes sense if they're first and second. Then you got Texans at number 3 with 28,000. Cowboys at 4 with 27,000. It goes all the way down to the Panthers, who only travel 8,000 miles. And then the Browns at 31, 9,000. This is something that's going to be nice to keep in handy. And I'm probably going to save on to this as the offseason goes on. And we make our decisions. Because travel does matter a lot, especially for wear and tear on the body. Especially later on in the season. So it's going to be kind of nice to know, all right, these are going to be the teams who travel a little bit more. You want to be those teams that are in the bottom 17. So, the Chiefs start the bottom 17 down. And then you got teams like Commanders who are 16, Lions 15. But, yeah, if you're the 49ers, Rams, Texans, Cowboys, Patriots, Dolphins, those are the top 6. Probably not happy that you're traveling over 25,000 miles. Each of these teams are actually traveling over 27,000. Chargers dropped to under 24,000, but besides that, yeah, you got a lot of teams that are traveling a lot of miles. But yeah, that is crazy overall how far the 49ers Rams are, especially because that's LA to, I don't even know what the best route would be. honestly. Like Santa Clara, Los Angeles, why would it even be the best route to go to Melbourne? Like, I wonder, are they going to fly... There's no way they fly. They're going to probably fly over the Pacific, right? You would think they would just go over that way instead of going over the Atlantic. That feels like that makes the most sense. That's just insane to think about because other teams... Yeah, see, that's what's crazy about all this travel and everything, especially from having to go that far. Like, that is a lot to worry about. And, I mean, they're starting off the season like that. And I believe... When did that kick off? I can't remember. We just had to pull up, and I just closed it out, of course. But I wonder when that kickoff is. Oh, they don't have a... I thought they had a... There we go. So it's September 10th in the U.S., September 11th over there. Sorry, I'm trying to look this up. I should have done this a little bit before, and I'll admit I forgot to. So they'll be basically playing a game on a Thursday or Friday, and then I wonder how that's going to work coming back home, what they do for that next game. That's going to, 49ers and Rams, that is tough for them to start off the season going to Australia. That's just tough, man. So, the final thing, well, that's probably it for the news-wise, to be honest. Like, there was honestly not a lot of news. I thought there was going to be a little bit more than there was. I totally forgot. It's like, oh, we covered most of it yesterday. All there was really schedule stuff. So, that pretty much leaves us with the betting odds. So, we're going to pretty much hop around there and just kind of take some quick notes as we end the episode today. Probably not going to be a super long one, to be honest. There's just generally not too much to talk about. But... the nice part is, next week when we come back, there's going to be a lot to react to when it comes to NFL schedules. So when it comes to betting odds for the NFL, we got some... I don't think there's too much movement. So basically, I'm doing this again for those of you who don't know. I had an audio issue last week, so pretty much what that meant was I went over the section twice. I'm curious to see if anything's really changed over the last week. I don't think too much has. So when it comes to like the Super Bowl, you got the Rams are your favorite at plus 700. Seattle Seahawks are next plus 1,000. Same with the Ravens and Bills, who are also plus 1,000. Next year would be the Patriots plus 1,600. Chargers plus 1,600. Same for the Chiefs and for the 49ers. Then you got the next tier, which is 1,800. Eagles, then Lions, who are 1,900. Then you got 20,000 and on for the rest of them. Value-wise, it's way too early to even start hopping into this. Let's at least see some schedules before we start doing that. But overall, you can even bet people to be Super Bowl loser. Odds are basically the same, except for a little bit lower. So, like, the Eagles are plus 1,800 to win Super Bowl loser. They're plus 1,900. Bills are 1,000. Stuff like that. That is very interesting. I'll admit, they didn't have that last week, so that's interesting to see that that's something they added this week. Overall, not too shocked by any odds. Steelers being 7-1 with no Aaron Rodgers news. I'm curious to see if that's going to move once Aaron Rodgers returns, because I assume he is going to come back and be the quarterback, but could be wrong about that. But my instinct is think he is going to come back, but let's be honest, I don't know. I think about Bengals at 25-1, Jaguars 25-1. That's about the range. I would say even maybe Colts if Daniel Jones comes back and he is healthy at 40-1, maybe Commanders at 51. That's about any team looking up from that point. Probably the teams I'm going to be looking at when it comes to that part of betting them. But like I said, it's way too early to start doing some of that stuff. Conference-wise, Baltimore Ravens are the favorite at plus 490. Then you got the Bills plus 500. Chiefs are plus 750. Same with the Chargers. Hold on. We'll look at one seed in a minute. Actually, you know what? We'll just dump now. To be the one seed, plus 380, plus 490, or Patriots plus 800. I'd be tempted to take the Chiefs at plus 800 to be a one seed, just simply for the fact they're going to play, I think, the third place schedules. So if Mahomes is able to come back after, at least a month, and they're able to be somewhat decent, there's a chance they could just run through it, their schedule, and have a pretty decent record. But it's really early, so I'm not going to take anything else yet. That is something I'm kind of interested in. But this is something we'll probably be betting on this year, I will admit. Probably going to try to stray away from the player props a little bit, because injuries really killed us last year in a lot of them. So kind of burnt a little bit too much by that to want to do it again. So we're probably just going to stick to more stuff like this. So yeah, Chiefs plus 800 are probably my early lean for that. I'll probably give out two teams, and I'm taking two teams. As for the NFC, you got the Rams plus 380, Seahawks are plus 500, 49ers plus 750, Lions are plus 900, Eagles are plus 950, then you got the Packers are plus 1,000. Packers to win the championship game, pretty tempting at plus 1,000, especially because they're going to get Micah Parsons back. You think they get Tucker Kraft back, and you've got to think that would help them out a good amount. And I'm trying to think. Wide receiver, I'll admit, they are a little bit weaker at, so that does make me a little bit nervous, and then I don't think they'll be too bad. So yeah, that might be. I think that would be my pick for the NFC Championship winner if I'm going to take anybody. Cowboys are plus 1,200, Bears plus 1,300. I think I would lean Packers just for the fact that if they can get some of their guys back, this is a team that is able to take the next step. They just really haven't done it just yet, so that's another reason. Like maybe I shouldn't take them, but that'd be my early lean, and that'll probably be something I just sprinkle on, mainly for the odds, to be honest. And it'd be a 1 seed, Rams plus 370, Seahawks plus 500, Lions plus 700, 49ers plus 800, Eagles plus 900, Packers plus 1,000, and then so on and so on. Yeah, I really don't have anything for that just yet. That's another. I at least want to wait for the schedule for that. The Chiefs, the only reason I kind of wanted to say them before seeing their schedules, like I said, they're going to be third. I think they have the third place schedule in their division, so that should help out a little bit. And I forget who. I'll admit, I forget who they play division-wise, so I might need to hold off on that a little bit. But I just like the odds a little bit, I'll admit. Plus 800 for the Chiefs to be the number 1 overall seed. I think I like that. We'll look at division winners potentially in a second. They have make or miss the playoffs. Let's just talk about some borderline teams. Colts are plus 154 to make the playoffs. Steelers are plus 172. Jaguars are minus 112. Bengals are minus 146. Texans are minus 158. I like that Texans one. With them to miss playoffs plus 134. They might have a harder schedule, though. That is very true. Jaguars minus 112, minus 104. The AFC South one is very, very interesting. Because even the Titans are plus 410 to make, and then minus 550 to miss. But let's talk about divisions before we get to that, because that's actually really fascinating. AFC, to win the AFC East, you got the Bills at minus 135, Patriots plus 130, Jets plus 20 or 22 to 1, and then Dolphins are 30 to 1. That makes sense, to be honest, especially for the Jets and Dolphins are kind of in a rebuild mode. For the AFC North, you got the Ravens at minus 130, Bengals are plus 210, Steelers are plus 600, and then you got the Browns at plus 1,600. Ooh, I think I kind of want to take Bengals a little bit, but that would mean I would have to trust in their defense, which is stinky. So Steelers plus 600 wouldn't be a bad one, especially if Rodgers comes back and has a little bit of a run it back. Texans are plus 135. Jaguars are plus 195. Colts are plus 950. Colts are plus 340. Titans are plus 950. I'm obviously going to take the Colts because I'm a fan of them, but it's either going to be Colts or Texans for me. I do think the I don't know, though. Oh, man. I kind of like Liam Cohen, and he coached that Jaguars team pretty damn good last year, so I might have to consider the Jaguars a little bit more, I will say, which really sucks. The Chiefs to win their division plus 170, Chargers are plus 185, Broncos are plus 210, and the Raiders are plus 1,600. For that one, I do think I kind of like the Chiefs a little bit, but Mahomes is coming off the ACL, and this is a way too early lean, so this is just me kind of spitballing off the dome. Eagles, now we'll go to the NFC. NFC East, Eagles are plus 135, Cowboys plus 210, Commanders plus 410, and then you got the Giants plus. Giants might not be a bad play for having a fourth place schedule if you really do believe in the Harbaugh factor, which I'll admit I'm tempted to take it, but that also means betting on the Giants. Then you look at the NFC North. You got the Lions plus 155, Packers plus 230, Bears plus 310, Vikings plus 550. No idea what to do with that division just yet, especially with the Vikings might be decent next year. Bears are obviously going to be good. Packers are getting a lot of their guys back, so they should be good. And I don't know what to think about the Lions, but they should be pretty good under Dan Campbell. So you think they'll take not a step back, but at least, if anything, a lateral movement, maybe a little bit of step forward. NFC South, Buccaneers are plus 190, Saints are plus 280, Panthers plus 300, Falcons plus 320. By far the closest division when it comes to trying to pick somebody. I kind of lean the Saints, honestly. I might bet my boy Rowan Saints. That's an way too early lean for that, so we'll just have to see. Then you got the NFC West, Rams plus 130, Seahawks plus 175. 49ers plus 270. Cardinals 30-1. That's going to be a fun race to see how that goes because Seahawks bringing back a lot of their guys. Rams are still pretty good from last year, so yeah, that should be a fun one. Let's finish it off with the playoffs, honestly, which we'll just finish off kind of going over some of the stuff we did. For the NFC to miss the playoffs, we'll finish off with that one since we kind of went over the AFC, and then we'll give some final thoughts overall. Saints at plus 200. Commanders plus 194. Ooh, so the Saints are plus 200. What are they to win a division? Saints are plus 280 to win their division. I guess they can make their playoffs without winning the division, so there's that factor of it, but interesting. I was going to say you might as well bet them to try to win the division because that's probably going to be the best chance to make the playoffs, but maybe they'll just be good enough to sneak in as like a lower seed overall, but some of these other close teams, Commanders plus 194 to make it, Vikings plus 190, Buccaneers plus 136, Bears are plus 106, Cowboys are plus 102, minus 120 to miss it. The Packers are minus 134 to make it, Eagles minus 154, 49ers minus 156. And then you got Lions, Seahawks, and Rams who are basically like, I don't want to say locks, but according to the books, pretty good. They're over 2-1 negative that they're going to make it, so good chance of them probably doing that. Overall, looking at some of those odds, I'm curious to see, I think a lot, especially the Giants, I'm curious to see how they end up moving because I think there's going to be a lot of heart betting on the Giants and a lot of taking their season win total over, them to win the Super Bowl, all that stuff. I'm curious to see when the Chief bandwagon movement comes in. I'm curious to see if anything ends up happening with that. Overall, I'm just curious. In general, I'm curious to see how these odds move by Tuesday. We might come back to this on Tuesday, maybe Thursday, just to take a quick peek, see if anything moves. But overall, that's probably what we're going to leave for today. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for the support. Really do appreciate it. Really, really short one today, but like I said, there was not too much to go for. I just wanted to quickly burn through this because, honestly, Tuesday's where a lot of this stuff is going to come back up, where, like I said, we're going to talk about the NFL schedule. We'll talk a little bit more about potentially some of the odds, maybe talk about, how those odds could relate to my breakdowns, because, yeah, looking at this calendar, we got, 3-4 weeks till I do these breakdowns of every team, giving my feedbacks, all that fun stuff, so we got that to look forward to as we get ever so closer to the end of the off-season, which is just crazy to think about, because it's already halfway through May. Before you know it, it's going to be August. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for the support. I'll see everyone back in this feed on Tuesday.